Hi, my grade 11 students. Today I am continue the next part of the trade and supporting service lesson. I am going to start today check transactions. Under this, check crossing, check endorsement, and transactions related to the electronic cash. These are the things going to be discussed. In the last chapter, we have done supporting services. Under the supporting services, especially we discussed banking services, especially we discuss about the commercial banks. Under the commercial bank, we have done services related to the deposits and services related to the electronic cash. Under the services related to the deposits, we have discussed about savings accounts, fixed deposits accounts and current accounts. After that, importance of current accounts also we have discussed. Under the same banking services related to the deposits category, today I continue about checks. What do you mean by checks? Actually, you have heard this word checks. I think you have received checks from someone, right? To settle their payments to you. Then you go to the bank and you can withdraw money from this check. Most of the businessmen also today, they deal with the bank to deposit checks and withdraw money from the checks, right? These are the transactions were done by the businessmen to conduct their business activities. Especially today we continue check transactions. What do you mean by checks? Check crossing, special crossing, general crossings, check endorsements. After that, we move to discuss about electronic cash, right? So, first of all, we should know what is check. A checkbook is issued by the bank when a current account is opened. A check is a written order. A check is a written order given to the bank. Right? Check is a written order. Check is a written order. Yeah, written order given to the bank by current account holder. You remember who issued the check? Check issued by the current account holder. Check is written by current account holder. What he tells, what he says, he tells to the bank, he give an order to the bank to do this payment. To mention name of the person on the face of the check and the amount mentioned on the face of the check. It is a written order given by the current account holder to the bank. It is called as check. Look at it again. Remember, if you have a current account, bank will issue a checkbook you. Right? Bank will issue a checkbook you. In that checkbooks, there are a lot of check leaves, right? Then, if you want to pay a certain amount of money to your employee as their salary, you think? Think about this. There's an employee, the name is Nimal. Then you want to pay salary of Nimal. Nimal's monthly salary is 30,000. You want to pay money 30,000 to Nimal as employee salary because Nimal is your employee. You want to pay 30,000 monthly salary to Nimal. Then you write a check. You have to write to whom you issue the check. Then you have to pay this payment to Nimal. Then you write the name of Nimal on the face of the check. Then how much you want to pay? You want to pay 30,000 rupees now. You write the amount also, 30,000 rupees only. And you put your signature. Then you issue this check to whom? To Nimal. Then Nimal will go to the bank and he submit this check to bank cashier. Then they will pay 30,000 rupees to Nimal if you have enough money in your current account, right? You should have enough money to issue checks. It is the procedure. Now, again, from this simple example, you can understand, I think, what is check. Check is who issued that check? Check issued by you, no? To whom? You issue this check to whom? To Nimal. Actually, to whom you give the order? You gave this order not to Nimal, you gave order to your bank. Through this check, what you told to the bank? You told to the bank to pay 30,000 rupees to Nimal. Nimal will come to your place. He will submit this check to you. You check it and you pay 30,000 like that. It is the method. Then look at here again. A check is a written order given to the bank by the current account holder. Yes, current account holder in order to pay a certain amount of money. A certain amount of money means how much you want to pay. You have to write that amount on the check. To individual whose name is written on the check or to bearer of the check. Bearer means sometimes you can do like that. Remember, then if you issue a check to Nimal, Nimal is not going to the bank. Nimal can appoint another person to go to the bank. He is the bearer who bring the check to the bank. Who bring the check to the bank. Right? Who goes to the bank with the check. He is the bearer. Right? So, then this is the detail regarding the check. Right? Then you must remember this. Try to understand. Right? Check is issued by current account holder. Right? Then to whom current account holder give the order? To the bank. Yeah. Current account holder, right, gives an order to the bank. What is the order? To pay the mentioned value of the check to the person who named on the check. Right? It is called as check. It's a written order. It's a written order. In this definition, you must remember this. When you give definition for the check, you must remember who issued the check. You clearly mention the check issued by current account holder. To whom give this order? To the bank. Right? What mentioned there? What are the details included in this check? It includes the amount to be paid and to whom the payment is done. Right? So, including this detail, you can make a definition for a check. Right? Okay. Then act of bill of exchange is the rule for check. Yeah. Act of bill of exchange. It is the rule is for the check. Right? Now you can see here check. Right? Actually, when the bank issue a checkbook to the current account holder, they will print it mentioning their name. Remember here the Bank of Ceylon, right? Then their logo. If it is a commercial bank, they put their name of the commercial bank. If it is a Sampath bank, they mention what? Name of the Sampath bank with their logo, right? So then the people, if it is a People's Bank, so they give the name as People's Bank with their logo, right? The branch name also given here, right? This area, actually this is a filled completed check, right? Already written check, right? Then in this column, normally they will keep empty. Why? When you write the check, you have to put the date here. You have to put the date here, right? Then in this area, the pay, here you have to write the name of the person to whom this check. In the previous example, I told about Nimal. Then if you want to pay this payment to Nimal, you write as Nimal, right? But in this check is given what? N Kodituakku, right? That current account holder issued this check to whom? N Kodituakku. that current account holder had to pay 100,000 rupees to Kodituakku. That's why that current account holder wrote this check, right? Then in this area, rupees, in this area you have to write the amount you are going to pay. Then here 100,000 only. If you want to pay 200,000 rupees, you have to write 200,000 only. You mention as only, right? Only. If you don't write it here, someone can take this check and someone means the person to whom you issue check. You think you have written only here 100,000. You forgot to record only. Then what happened? Then N Kodituakku can change this value. How? 100,000 and 500 rupees. Like, if not, 100,000 and 150,000 only. 100,000 and 50,000. Right? Then remember, if you have written 100,000 only, after the only word, no one can write anything. No one can write anything. So, when you write a check, you must mention clearly to whom you issue the check, that person's name clearly you mention, right? The other one, how much you are going to pay, that amount to be written, end of the, in words you have to write only, right? Then you have to put the signature. Like, actually this is just basic things about the check when you are writing check. So deeply we are going to discuss about the check in the next slide, right? Now parties related to a check. There are three parties related to a check. Who are the three parties? Drawer. Drawer. Drawer means who draw some pictures, like who draw these letters, like draw means the person who write the check. Drawer means person who writes the check. If you are the current account holder, you are the drawer, right? Then the person who writes the check, he is the drawer. We'll see. The drawer is the person who writes and signs a check. Generally, the drawer is the current account holder. Drawer is every time who? Current account holder. He is the person who writes the check. The second party. Second party is drawee. Drawee. Who is drawee? Right? It is the bank of the drawer. The drawee is the bank in which the current account is maintained. What is that? It is the bank of the drawer. The drawee is the bank in which the current account is maintained. I'll explain through example, then you can understand. You think you are the current account holder. You are the current account holder. What is your name? Your name is Kamal. You are Kamal. Where you opened your current account? You opened your current account in a commercial bank. Commercial bank is BOC. You think your account you maintain on BOC, Bank of Ceylon, right? Then you want to pay a certain amount of money to Ranil, right? You want to pay a certain amount of money to Ranil. You think Ranil is sometime he's an employee in your business, you think, right? Then how much you want to pay? 10,000 rupees. Yeah, 10,000 rupees, right? Then Kamal writes a check. Kamal is you, right? You write a check. What is the name you mention here? Because to whom you issue check? You write as Ranil. Ranil. How much? 10,000. You write 10,000 only. I told you before, you must write only like, right? Then remember, who wrote the check? Kamal. Kamal is the Kamal. Is the person who issue check, who write the check. Then Kamal, it means you are the drawer, right? You are the drawer. To whom you issue this check? To whom you produced this check? You produced, you wrote this check, you wrote this check to Ranil. Tell me, to whom you give the order? You gave this order to your bank. What is your bank? POC. Now, when I analyze this all the details, Kamal is the drawer. Kamal is the drawer. Drawee. Drawee means every time your bank. What is your bank? Bank is what? BOC. Then this is the drawee. To whom you gave the message? You gave this message to your bank. What is your bank? BOC. Right? You gave this order to pay this money to Ranil. Right? Then you gave this order to your BOC. Right? Your bank is BOC. So, then every time drawee is your bank. Where you maintain current account, that bank is drawee. Right? Then the last part is payee. Payee means to whom you produce this check, to whom you wrote this check. In this case, you have written this check to Ranil. The Ranil is payee. Ranil is payee. Now you must remember this thing, right? There are main three parties related to a check. How many parties? Three parties. The first party is drawer. Drawer means who write the check. Every time who writes the check, check is written by current account holder. Right? Current account holder is the drawer. If not, the person who writes the check, he is the drawer. Understood? Yes. Now, drawee. Drawee is every time the bank, not a person. Every time drawee should be a bank. Right? Then to whom you give the order? If not, where you maintain your current account, in which bank? That bank is drawee. Now the third party is payee. Payee. Payee means to whom you produce check, to whom you have written this check. So in this case, Ranil is a payee. He can withdraw money through this check. I think understood well. Then look at here. Remember, drawer. Drawer is the person who writes and signs the check. Drawee. The drawee is the bank in which the current account is maintained. Where the current account holder maintain his current account, that bank is drawee every time. Right? The payee. Payee, the person whose name is written on the check and has the right to receive the payment mentioned in the check is the payee. When you write the name of Ranil, Ranil is the payee. When you write the name of the Sunil, Sunil is the payee. When you write the name on the check is Asanka, Asanka is the payee. Right? These are the main three parties related to the check. I think understood. Now, element of check. Element of check. Then here we explain what are the areas and what we write in different areas in the check. Here I gave the numbers in different places. You can see number 1 here. Then I'll tell what is this. In this area 9. 9. This area 9. 9. Number 9. Right? This area number 8. Number 8. This is number 3. This is number 5. Then number 6. 7. Here you have to put the signature, right? 5. In this box, normally we write the value of the check. If you want to pay 50,000, in figures you have to write 50,000. If you want to pay 100,000, in figures you have to write 100,000 here, right? Then 4. Here date. These are the places I am going to explain. If you have a check now, you can take it now, right? Then you can number this. You put your numbers in the check. Then when I explain, you can clearly understand what I am going to explain, right? Then can you see very clearly here? I have given different numbers. In the next slide, I explain what? In this number, what we write in these different areas, right? Then number 9, number 9 here. Number 9. This area I take here separately. Actually, we give a name for this area. Counterfoil. Counterfoil. What is counterfoil? Counterfoil. Remember, when you receive a checkbook, you can see a part like this. If this is a check, like you can tear the check from this place, right? This is the remaining part of the check. After issuing check, this part will be remained in your checkbook. After issuing all the checks, you have remained only this area, left side of the check, right? You can tear the check, you can break the check from this place, and you can issue this check to the person to whom you produce the check. The remaining parts, in this remaining part, you can write pay to whom you write the check. To whom you write the check. According to the previous example, I think you remember, you issued the check to Ranil, right? Then after issuing check this to Ranil, you write here that this is a remaining part with you, Ranil, right? Then the amount of the check issued by you, paid by you to Ranil, right? You can write here, right? You think the amount of money you paid, how much? You think 10,000? Yeah, 10,000 you put here. Remember, before you issue this check to Ranil, you had 50,000 rupees in your bank current account. You think this available balance before you issue check to Ranil, right? Now, after issuing this 10,000 check, how much the available money in your current account? If you had 50,000 rupees and you issued a check of 10,000 to Ranil, then Ranil goes to the bank and he withdraw money from your account. How much? 10,000 rupees. Now, how much the available money? 40,000. You have to write these changes in the remaining part of the check Why? After issuing 2, 3, 5 or 10 checks without writing anything in this area, when you check later your checkbook, you don't know to whom you issued this check, when you issue this check, and how much the values of the check written by you. This everything you can't understand. You forget. So remember, after writing check, remaining part of the check in the left side of the check, it is called as what? Counterfoil. In the counterfoil, you must remember to enter the details about issued checks. Especially you write what? To whom you produce check and the amount of the check issued by you. Right? And also you have to write the date. 21st, 7, 20, 21 like. Then after issuing check, you will remain only this part. When you refer this part, you can understand well. You issued the check 21st of 7. The value is 10,000. You issued this check to Ranil. Before Ranil's check, you had only 50,000. Now you have only how much? 40,000. This part is called as what? Counterfoil. Counterfoil. Right? Most of the people, most of the businessmen, they don't enter details in this area. Actually, it is not the correct method, right? If you are the businessman, if you are the current account holder, you remember you must enter the details in this area. It is very easy for you to understand the transactions was done by you. Then bank name and branch. What is that? You see, I told you before, if you have a check at your home, you take it and you number in these areas, right? Number 1 I put what? Bank name and branch. If you want, I can show you, right? I can show you here. Bank name. I don't mention the name of the bank. If it is Sampatto, commercial or people, so any name of the bank, and branch name is here, Colombo 1 here, right? If it is Maharagama, the Maharagama branch like that, right? Number 2, see, number 2, here you must enter the date when you issue the check. You must enter the date when you issue, right? Number 3, the number 3, pay. To whom you pay this check? In the previous example, what is the name written by you? Ranil. Then Ranil, you write as Ranil. Ranil is the payee's name. You put here. Right? Then how much you pay to Ranil? 10,000 rupees. Then here in words, right? Not figures. In words, you write 10,000 only. 10,000 only. The amount 10,000. 10,000 only. Like this. 10,000 only. In words, you have to write in the where you put the number 5, that place, right? Then paid, number 6, end of the check. I have mentioned number 6. They have to whom you paid. In words they have given paid, right? Then signature of the drawer. Number 7. I'll show it again. Number 7 here. You have to put a signature, right? Signature. After writing the check, to whom, under the number 3 you write pay's name. Then how much you are going to pay, in words you write in the number 5. Under the number 5 you write the amount you are going to pay. That amount you write in words. The same detail you write here, but in figures. That's why we put here number 5. Again number 5. Why we put here? Because it is the same detail, but here in words they are in figures, right? Then magnetic column. You can see a magnetic column here. Actually, after getting the check, you can see down area, right? There are some numbers, right? Actually, they have given the check number. You know, when you issue check number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. According to the checkbook order, they will give a number for each check, right? The other one is bank code. Bank code. Bank code. There's a code number for each bank. The other one is branch code. The other one is account number. Account number also included in this check. I think if you have a check in your hand, you can see this everything. Remember, here you can see some, actually these are the magnetic area, right? Magnetic area, right? These are the details included in magnetic area, right? Now you know what is a check and what are the elements of check, how to write a check. This everything you know. I think you should remember this everything, right? Now we are going to discuss other details, right? Factors to be considered when writing a check. Factors to be considered when you write in a check. This is very important detail, right? Look at here, everyone. Write in the date accurately. You never put future date. You never put future date, right? Then the other one, write in the name of the payee clearly and accurately. Yes. Remember, to whom you write the check, that person's name you mention very clearly and accurately. If you want to pay a certain payment to Ranil Pereira, on the face of the check, clearly you write Ranil Pereira, not Amal Pereira, right? So you write very clearly their name. Write in the value accurately, both in figures and letters. Yes, both in figures and letters, right? You may think like this. Then by mistakenly you write in words what? 10,000 only. It's okay. In words you write 10,000 only. 10,000 only. But you know, when you write in figures, in that box you are writing figures, no? By mistakenly you have written not 10,000, you put additional 0, then what happened? Here you have written to pay to Ranil Pereira or Amal Pereira or to anyone 10,000 only. But the problem is, inside of the box here, by mistakenly you have written how much? 100,000. When the payee goes to the bank, he submit this check to the cashier. Then what happened? Cashier doesn't know is the correct amount is 10,000 no 100,000. Cashier never gives money for this check. They will return this check. So you must remember how much you are going to pay, that amount to be mentioned by you in words and in figures correctly. Okay, right. Now sign in the check accurately by the drawer. Yeah, remember in the previous part I taught you when you open a current account, they will issue a card. We call for that signature cards, right? In several places in the same card you have to put your original signature. It is the signature signed by you when you issue a check. Now bank has a signature card. Bank checks if the same signature is available in your check, what you have given to the bank, right? If the signature is get some to difference, so bank will reject this check, right? It means you think like this, you put the signature like this when you open current account, but when you issue check you put like this, right? Now here tell me, this signature and this signature to different or same? To different. So bank will reject this check. You must remember these things when you are writing check. What are the details, right? You write the check, the correct date accurately, write in the name of the payee clearly and accurately, write in the value accurately both in figures and letters, right? Then sign in the check accurately by the drawer. If there are any corrections to be made on a check, those should be written clearly and be certified by the full signature of the drawer. You remember this. By mistakenly, you wrote the check like this, how? 10,000 only. Here you put 100,000. When you are doing this, when you are writing this, the same time you saw this. Then what you do? You can cut this here by using a line and you put your full signature correctly. Then you can rewrite it 100,000 only. Where you did the mistake, the same place you put a long signature, correct full signature, then bank will accept it is the correct check, right? Now write in the relevant information on the check counterfoil. Counterfoil, I explained it before. Write the correct details in the counterfoil. What you record in the counterfoil? To whom you issue check, when you issue check, how much the value of the check, before you issue this check, how much the available balance you had, after this check, how much you have now the current balance in your bank account. These are the details you have to enter in the counterfoil. Counterfoil is the remaining part of the check after issuing the check, left part of the check, right? Then not writing anything on the magnetic in character recognition space of the check. Remember, down area of the check you have seen. If you have the check now, you can check it. You can see the magnetic area. You never write anything there. You never write anything there, right? That thing. Then cross in appropriately. Cross in appropriately means what is check cross in, we will discuss in the next slide. You remember these are the points you have to consider when you write a check. What are the factors to be considered? These are the factors. What are they? Write in the date accurately. You put the date correctly. Then write in the name of the payee clearly and accurately. Yes, you clearly mention to whom you issued this check. Write in the value accurately both figures and letters. Right? In figures and letters, you write the very clearly. Don't write two different values in words and figures. Sign in the check accurately by the drawer. You put your correct signature. What you have given to the bank, same signature should be given here. If there is any mistake, when you are writing the check, there is a mistake. Then what do you do? You cut it by a line and you put your full signature close to that place. Right? The other one, write in the relevant information in the counterfoil. Counterfoil is what? left part of the check, remaining part of the check after issuing it, right? Then so you enter the correct details there. Date, to whom you issue check, how much the value of the check, before you issue the check how much you had, and after issuing checks how much your available money now, like that, right? Then don't write anything in the magnetic area, you know the magnetic area. Then crossing appropriately, crossing part will be discussed in the next slides, right? Check crossing. Check crossing. What do you mean by check crossing? Look at here. Crossing a check means drawing two parallel lines on the face of a check. Crossing a check means drawing two parallel lines on the face of a check. Writing the name of a bank inside two parallel lines or even without parallel lines is also considered as crossing. Say understood? No, right? Remember this, I'll explain. After writing check, you can draw two parallel lines on the face of the check. Parallel lines, you know, parallel lines like this. On the face of the check you have to do, right? This situation is called check crossing. We cross the check. Drawing two parallel lines on the face of the check. That situation is called check crossing. Then you don't ask what? Why we do that? I'll explain it later. Right? First of all, you must remember what is the meaning of the check crossing. Then check crossing means drawing two parallel lines on the face of the check. It is called check crossing. Check crossing. Right? Writing the name of a bank inside two parallel lines. Writing the name of a bank inside two parallel lines. Inside two parallel lines, we write name of the bank BOC. Think what it says. Writing the name of a bank, yes, in the two parallel lines O, yes, in the two parallel lines O, even without parallel lines is also considered as crossing. What's the meaning of that? It says this. Generally, check crossing means drawing two parallel lines on the face of the check. That situation is called what? Check crossing. But not only that. Inside of the two parallel lines, you can write what? Name of a bank or name of any condition. That situation is also what? Check crossing. You think without these two parallel lines, on the face of the check, you can write name of a bank like this. In the second time, can you see two parallel lines? No. But this situation is also considered as what? Check crossing. Then here you remember, to do a check crossing, two parallel lines are not compulsory. But at the beginning I explained you, check crossing means drawing two parallel lines on the face of the check. In these two parallel lines, you can write name of a bank. That situation is also check crossing. Without two parallel lines, you can write name of the bank. That is also check crossing. So remember, this check crossing is going to two categories. We can classify check crossing under two categories. One is general crossing. The other one is special crossing. These 2 points already explained in this paragraph. Separately I explain now what is general crossing, what is special crossing. I want to say this thing. What? Why we do check crossing? Look at here. A check is crossed in order to provide more security for that check. Why we do check crossing? Why we draw two parallel lines? Why we enter some details inside of the two parallel lines? It means check crossing. As a whole, actually why we do check crossing? A check is crossed in order to provide more security for that check. After drawing two parallel line, if not after doing check crossing, you can give more security for the check. How you give more security? Remember, after receiving a crossed check to you, you never withdraw money. You can't withdraw money over the counter. Over the counter. What is over the counter? Normally, when you receive a check, you can go to the bank and you submit this check to the cashier, right? They will check your identity card and they after confirm that is the same person, you are the same person, they will issue money, no issue. It is the normal procedure. But you remember, after receiving this kind of check, what kind of? Crossed check. After drawing two parallel lines on the face of the check, you think you go to the bank. You ask about money for this check, but they never give money for you for this check. They advise to you what? Sir, madam, you deposit this check in your bank account. After 2-3 days, you can withdraw money through your bank account. So that's why it explains here why we do check crossing. After doing check crossing, you can get more security for your check. No one can take money from the check. Why? You want to deposit this cross check in your bank account. After that, you can withdraw money. That's why it says what? Giving more security, we do check crossing. Right? It cannot be encashed over the counter of the bank. Yes, you can't get money over the counter if you have received cross check. You have to deposit this check to your bank account. Cross check should be deposited to a bank account in order to obtain the money. It is the nature after receiving cross check for you. Especially you must remember only this. Why we do check crossing? To give more security for the check. To give more security to the check, we do check crossing. Right? After receiving cross check, what you want to do? Can you withdraw money over the counter? No, you can't do. You can't take money over the counter. You have to deposit this check in the bank. After that, you can withdraw money through your bank account. Right? Now, there are two methods of check crossing, general crossing and special crossing. Now, we'll see what is this. A general crossing is done by drawing two parallel lines on the face of a check with or without including a condition inside. You remember, under the general crossing, you can draw two parallel lines. In each general crossing example, you can see two parallel lines. Okay. In the first one, you can't see any condition. In the second one, you can see a condition. In the third one also, they have given another condition. These three are examples for general crossing. In the first time, no any condition. Second one, you can condition with the two parallel lines. Third one, you can see another condition with two parallel lines. But anyway, in each one, you can see two parallel lines. Under the general crossing, the very, very important point is you should have two parallel lines. Two parallel lines should be included in the general crossing. Two parallel lines are required. It is the compulsory thing in the general crossing. What is the compulsory thing under the general crossing? What is that? You must draw two parallel lines. If you want, you can include the condition. If you don't think no need, so you can draw only two parallel lines without mentioning any condition, but both situations are called what? General crossing. Then you must remember what is the major feature of general crossing. You must draw two parallel lines. Two parallel lines are compulsory under the general crossing. Then you can think like this, why we include the condition? What is the meaning of not negotiable? What is the meaning of not account pay only? Right? First we see here. Not negotiable. Not negotiable means transferor has a better right than the transferee. Transferor means if you write this check to someone, you are the transferor, that someone is transferee, right? Not negotiable. It never says what? You can't transfer this check to someone. You can transfer this check to someone. No issue, no barriers. But the problem is, every time the person who transfer this check, he is the person having better right than the transferee. Right? You remember, under this situation, when you receive a check as mentioned in not negotiable, it tells what? Now, but you can get the check, right? But the problem is, the person who gave this check, he has the better right than you. He has a better right than you about this check. So, you think twice when you take a check with mentioning not negotiable. But you can withdraw money, you can transfer this check to someone. But the problem is, every time the person who gave this check to you, he has a better right than you. So, you think twice when you receive a check with not negotiable. Right? The other one, transferor is the who issued the check, transferee who get and who receive the check. Right? Then payee can withdraw money after only depositing the check in his current account. Money cannot be taken over the counter. Yes, I already explained you. After receiving cross check, you can't withdraw money over the counter. What you do? You have to deposit this check in your current account. After that, you can withdraw money. That's why I explained you before why we do the check crossing, to give more security for the check. The other one is special crossing. You know, check crossing means drawing two parallel lines on the face of the check, including a condition or without a condition. Both situations are called as check crossing. Under the check crossing, now first step is general crossing. Under the general crossing, compulsory thing is drawing two parallel lines with or without a condition. That time you have to deposit the check in your bank account and you can withdraw money from the account. You must remember, you never withdraw money over the counter under the general crossing situation. Now, special crossing. We'll see what is that. Special crossing. A special crossing is a crossing mentioning a name of commercial bank written on the face of a check inside two parallel lines or without parallel lines. Under the general crossing, compulsory thing was drawing two parallel lines. Under the special crossing, compulsory thing is writing name of a commercial bank. Here two parallel lines are not compulsory. Look at here, there are three examples. You can see two parallel lines. Okay, inside of the parallel lines, you can see what? People's Bank. You can see the name of a commercial bank. The second time, drawing two parallel lines. Okay, inside what you account pay only, but finally they mention what? Bank of Ceylon, name of a commercial bank. Third time, can you see two parallel lines? No. But that situation is called what? Special crossing. But the thing is, must thing is what? Write in a name of a commercial bank. I think now understood. I explain here clearly what is the difference between general crossing and special crossing. Under the general crossing, two parallel lines are compulsory. Under the special crossing, name of a bank is compulsory. Right? Here, if you need, you can write only name of a commercial bank without drawing two parallel lines, but it is also called as known as special crossing. Right? A check crossed in this way requires to be deposited in an account in the name of the bank in the crossing. Yeah. When you receive this kind of check, you must deposit this check here. People's Bank current account. If you receive a check like this, what you want to do? You go to the Bank of Ceylon. You have to deposit this check in your Bank of Ceylon account. Then if you receive like this kind of check, then sometimes you may have BOC accounts and you may have any other accounts in different commercials bank, but you have to deposit this check in your People's Bank current account. Right? These are the things about the check crossing. Now, check endorsement. This is a new concept. Check endorsement. We'll see what is that. Check endorsement. Endorsing a check means writing the name of the payee, writing the name of the payee, right? Payee. The name you mention on the face of the check, to whom you produce the check, his or her name is payee. Yeah. Endorsing a check means writing the name of the payee where, as mentioned on the face of the check, yeah, at the back of it by the handwriting of the payee himself. You issued a check to Ranil Pereira. Then what is the name you are writing on the face of the check now? Ranil Pereira. After the mention in the amount to be paid and put the signature and you completely done everything and you issue the check to Ranil Pereira. Now you think Ranil Pereira wants to withdraw money from this check, so he goes to the bank and he submit this check to cashier. Then cashier tells to Ranil Pereira, sir, can you write your name in the reverse of the check? Reverse of the check, back of the check. You can see this kind of area is provided in the reverse of the check. Endorsements. Then Ranil Pereira should write his name as mentioned on the face of the check in the reverse of the check, Ranil Pereira. This situation is called check endorsement. This situation is called check endorsement. After writing this name in the reverse of the check by Ranil Pereira himself, that cashier issues money for this check to Ranil Pereira. Now, I think you understand what is check endorsement. Check endorsement simply means writing the name of the payee as mentioned on the face of the check in the reverse of the check by payee himself or herself. That situation is called check endorsement. Actually, why people do this check endorsement? When withdraw money over the counter, you must mention name of the pay of the reverse of the check. The other time, Ranil Pereira wants to transfer this check to Amal Pereira. What's the situation? Ranil Pereira wants to transfer this check to Amal Pereira. Then what Ranil Pereira should do? Remember, the same situation is done by Ranil Pereira here. What Ranil Pereira does here? Ranil Pereira, the same way, he should write his name in the reverse of the check, and he means Ranil Pereira can give this check to Amal Pereira. This situation is also called as check endorsement, right? Now you think there are two times to be done check endorsement. What is that? When you withdraw money over the counter, you have to do the check endorsement. When you transfer the check to someone, that time also you have to do the check endorsement, right? Now look at here. A check can be endorsed when a businessman transfers a check that he has received to another party for a transaction, or when depositing a check into the bank account, right? You must remember why the businessman does check crossing in two times. What are these two times? When the businessman withdraw money over the counter using his check, he must mention name of the payee on the reverse of the check. It is called check endorsement. The other time is this. That payee wants to transfer this check to someone. That time also, what he does? He write the payee's name on the reverse of the check as mentioned on the face of the check. That situation is also check endorsement. So finally, check endorsement means what? Writing the name of the payee as mentioned on the face of the check in the reverse of the check. Right? Services related to the electronic cash. Services related to the electronic cash. Now I revise the details what we have done. Banking provides two services. Services related to the deposits. Right? What are the three accounts maintained by the commercial bank? Savings account, fixed deposit account and current account. Under the current account, we have discussed importance of having current account, how to open current account, right? And check transactions facility. Under the check transactions, we have done what is a check, who are the parties of the check, what are the factors to be considered in check writing, what are the check crossings, general crossings, special crossings, and finally we did what? Check endorsement. These all the topics were done by us under the services related to the deposits. Second point is services related to the electronic cash. Right? This is the second service given by the commercial bank. Right? Now, services related to the electronic cash. Electronic cash. What do you mean by electronic cash? Electronic cash means the different cards, different tools what the businessmen and the people use to do their transactions without using notes and coins. Right? Without using notes and coins, we use different cards, debit cards, credit cards and ATM cards. These cards are normally called as what? Electronic cash. We'll see here. Electronic cash is an electronic payment settlement method which can be substituted for cash and checks. Right? If you want, you can do your payments by using notes and coins. If you want, you can do any payment, you can use the check also. But in this method, we don't use notes and coins. We don't use checks, but we can use any other electronic methods. These methods are called electronic cash. Under this, we discuss credit cards, debit cards and automated teller machines. Right? What are they? Credit card, debit cards and automated teller machine cards. Right? We discuss one by one now. What is debit card? What is credit card? What is automated teller machines? Under these three cards, we discuss advantages of using electronic cards, debit cards and credit cards and automated teller machine cards. This is everything we are going to discuss, right? Credit card first. Cards issued by commercial banks to the customers to settle their payments on credit basis. Credit card issued on credit basis. Credit cards issued on credit basis by the banks to the customers. Right? Here, you must remember, account is not compulsory to get the credit card. Why? They issue this card on credit basis. You can buy goods and services on credit basis in different places using this card. But here, you want to confirm how much the income you can earn for 1 month, then the bank will decide the limit of your credit card. You have heard different names of credit cards. They will give some offers in different times in festival seasons, right? Then you can get more advantages using the credit cards. But remember, you have to pay money on time to the cards. If not, if you get the late payment, so they will charge interest and extra charges from you. But if you can pay the payments on time, they never charge interest or any other charges from you. If you use the credit card, you manage it properly, then you can enjoy more benefits through credit cards. Now, Again, cards issued by a commercial bank to the customers to settle their payments on credit basis. Bank of Ceylon, they will give the C Bank Visa. People's Bank is given, it is the People's Visa. These are the examples for the credit cards. Right? International credit cards network. Right? What are they? Visa card. You have heard these all the words, right? These are the internationally spread in all the countries in the world, right? So, Visa, MasterCard, American Express and Discover, like these are the examples, different brands of the cards, right? American Express, Discover, a Visa card, MasterCard. These are the different names of credit cards, right? Now, importance of credit cards for the customers. I told you we can enjoy more benefits through using the credit cards as a customer, right? These are the points. Goods and services can be taken on credit basis, right? You can buy goods and services using credit cards on credit basis, right? Get money as a loan through ATM. If you want to get money for an urgent matter, so using the credit card, you can withdraw money through ATM, right? The other one, less risk. Why? If you keep money, sometime someone can take your money. It's a risk, but you can use only plastic card. So, very easy for you, less risk. The other one, interest will not be charged for a certain period. If you can settle your money on time to the credit card, they don't charge any interest from you. These are the importance and benefits of using credit card, right? Now, next one, importance of credit cards for the businessman. You think if you are the businessman, you can give credit card facility payments to your customers. From that, what you can get? Then remember, increase in sales. Why? Even though your customer don't have money, they will come to your place if they have credit card. They will buy goods and services from you. Then you can increase your sales. The other one is less bad debts. Less bad debts. Bad debts means losses. After selling goods on credit basis, some customers, they neglect their payments. Sometimes they don't pay their payments, right? Then it is loss for you. But when they use the credit card company will settle your bill. So, no bad debts, no risk, right? These are the advantages of using credit card for the businessman, right? Now, the debit card. Remember, most of the people use the debit card. To get the debit card, you remember, you must have an account in the bank. When I explained about the savings account in the previous part, I told you the bank will issue a debit card for you against your account. Then to get the debit card, you must have an account in the bank, right? We'll see here. Debit cards are the cards issued by commercial banks to their customers, facilitating them to make payments directly using the cash available in the bank account. This card introduced by the bank to the customers to use this card to buy goods and services against available money in the bank account. If your bank account is not enough money, you can't buy anything using this debit card. If you have enough money in the bank account, using this card you can buy goods and services, no problem, right? Now, Sampath Bank set card is given. Commercial bank provide Cat Supercard. These are the different commercial names of, but these all are name of the debit card, right? Value of the transaction will be transferred to the seller's account from the buyer's account. That's why I told you, you should have enough money in your bank account to do any transaction through debit card. Why? The amount of the bill will be transferred from buyer's account to the seller's account. To transfer the money, you should have enough money in your bank account to buy goods and services using the debit card. Then the other type of card is automated teller machine card. ATM, automated teller machine. This should not the tailor, it should be teller. Tailor is not the other person, right? Teller. Remember, these cards are issued to customers by commercial bank in order to provide services similar to that of normal savings account. Remember, if you have ATM card, you can withdraw money through ATM, enter in your PIN number. You have to enter the PIN number there, right? You have to enter the PIN number there. Then after that, you can withdraw money. You should have enough money to withdraw, right? So that facility is called what? ATM facility. Now, there are the examples: People's Bank Pet Card, Bank of Ceylon CNET, Sampath Bank, SET means Sampath Electronic Teller. People's Bank, People's Electronic Teller, right? These are the examples for the ATM cards. Now, benefits of ATM, advantages of ATM. We'll see. Can withdraw money easily, yeah, right? Less risk. Why? You have only ATM card. If someone take your card but they can't withdraw money because they don't know, yeah, password, if not secret number, serial number, right? So, can withdraw money easily. Can see the balance, yeah. If you want to check the balance of your account, you can do it through ATM, right? Then can transfer money from one account to the another account. Yeah, if you want to transfer money using this card, you can transfer from one account from your account to the other account. The other one can get short bank details report. Yeah, short bank details report means after getting withdraw money, that ATM, that machine will issue a slip for you. From that, you can see how much you withdraw and how much the available balance of the account now you have, right? These are the benefits of ATM. Can withdraw money easily, can see the balance, can transfer money from one account to the another account. Last point is can get short bank details report. These are the advantages, benefits of having ATM. Now, importance of the services related to the electronic cash. Remember, as a whole, what are the importance, what are the benefits you have using through electronic cash? Generally, first one is instantaneity. It means quickly you can do the transaction, right? If you do any payment by notes and coins, then you have to count long time period. Why? Some it may be wrong value you come like that. So, but here when you do any payment, you can get only short time, right? Then minimizing the risk also minimized. Why? Because you use computerized system here, so less risk. Recording information automatically, yeah, all the details automatically will be recorded in the system. Ability to transact at any time of the day, yeah. If you want to withdraw money, you go to the ATM machine and you can do the payment, right? So anytime you can do that. So these are the importance of having electronic cash. What are they? Quickly you can do the transaction, minimizing the risk, recording information automatically, and ability to transact any time of the day. These are the importance of using electronic cash. Then the other slide I am going to discuss, there may be some limitations also in these cards, right? What are they? Risk of the data may be destroyed, right? Remember, sometime you can see the black color area in the reverse of the credit card or debit card. It's a magnetic column. When it destroyed, actually you can't do any transaction. It's a big risk for you, right? The other one, risk of being exposed to new types of electronic frauds, right? Then system errors will be generated, right? So these kind of some frauds will be incurred, right? Incurring an extra cost, yeah, they will charge card fees, sometimes they will charge interest, any additional charges for your cards. So these are the incurring extra cost, right? Inability to use for payments at certain shops, right? Then remember, you can't do any payment using the debit card, credit card, and ATM cards. Why? Because some shops are not used these systems, so you can't do your payments in different all the shops. My grade 11 students, today we have discussed about the checks, check crossing, special crossing and general crossing, check endorsements. These are the things we have done. After that, we completed services related to the electronic cash. Under this, we discuss about the debit cards, credit cards, and ATM cards. Their importance and limitation also we have discussed. In the next chapter, we are going to discuss about the insurance, right? Then we will back in the next chapter. Bye.